Hey guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here back on the 5-9 channel, and today I am here to talk about Shaman King's 2021 reboot. Now, I'm a huge fan of Shaman King, have been since 2003-2004. My first experience with the franchise came from the game itself, actually, rather than the anime or the manga, surprisingly. It's a very similar take to what I had with Dragon Ball, basically, because I got into Dragon Ball with Budokai 3, which was kind of odd considering most people would watch the anime first, or be informed about the manga or something along those lines. But like Dragon Ball, Shaman King was also introduced to me via the game. Now, for those of you who may not know what Shaman King is, it's a shonen manga that was serialized between 1998 to 2004 and had its original anime run in 2001 to 2002. Now, you guys might notice that's a bit odd because, well, the anime ended before the manga, and this was because the author decided to focus entirely on the manga, and at the same time Shueisha effectively told the writers of the of the anime basically to do an anime own ending and do the second half of the show on their accord and just make it original, which obviously, considering the track record of original anime endings, it necessarily didn't go the best, is what I will say. It was better than most situations. It was okay, but you could clearly tell that there were issues with the story. It wasn't from the author. It was something that was completely different to what was in the first half and the direction the first half was going in. Now, let's talk a bit about Shaman King as a whole. The backstory, who wrote it, illustrated it, and the themes of the manga. Shaman King is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Hiroyuki Takei, and it follows the adventures of Yo Asakura as he attempts to hone his shaman skills to become the Shaman King by winning the shaman fight. Now, this is obviously a very loose synopsis, and it doesn't necessarily indicate much of the story, and it's a very generic story, might I add, based on just the one brief liner that I gave you guys here. But of course, one thing to note obviously here is that shamanism obviously is the main theme of the series basically as a whole, and it's not a very common theme utilized. Not a lot of people use it, and it's very unique in its own right. But at the same time, this whole topic and theme, I should say, is the reason why it's also very popular in the Japanese media and the Japanese fan base. It continuously is in top 10 lists of respective medias for both anime and manga, and even the publications about manga, anime, and other media have commented that the Shaman King manga is a very, very positive series. So there is a huge fan base for it, but why did it take 17 years to come up with a reboot if it was so popular, right? Obviously, the serialization of the manga ended in 2004, so there was infinite opportunities for the anime to come back potentially with a reboot from, different sources and potentially under different studios. Well, there were opportunities. There were clear opportunities. In 2015, a former president of Madhouse, and at the time of 2015, the current MAPPA president, Masao Maruyama, expressed his desire to work on a reboot of Shaman King. And then in 2017, while answering a fan's question, Takei even said that he did get an offer to reboot Shaman King, but he turned down the offer because he was told that the new anime couldn't feature the original voice actors as well as the soundtrack music, and that he would hope that there was another chance in the future. Come 2020 June, and we finally got the announcement that there would be a completely fresh adaptation of the series that would adapt the first 35, or well, not the first 35, but all 35 volumes of the new complete manga edition that was published by Kodansha. Now, this was massive to me. Like, as a fan, I remember because the day before the announcement even happened, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about old shonen shows that, didn't necessarily have a great anime adaptation. Hitman Reborn, Shaman King, a couple of others came to my mind as well, but these were the two ones we were talking about because I was a fan of Shaman King, he was a fan of Hitman Reborn. And lo and behold, the following day I woke up and we got the announcement for the Shaman King project, and I was gassed. It was like a dream come true for me, because I've been waiting for a Shaman King reboot for nearly 15 years now, and to finally get a actual reboot, a fresh new take, and potentially a actual adaptation was a mind, like, it was a dream. It was genuinely a dream, and I was so excited. The anime is produced by Bridge, however, as well, which obviously Bridge is a very young studio. They were only founded in 2007. Have done very few shows. They did work on Fairy Tail, but this was in collaboration with A1 Pictures and Cloverworks. So they had done it as a sort of like an outsourced studio, basically. And they obviously had Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens as well as Talentless Nana last year. So they have a decent track record, but obviously they're a young studio. This is probably their first big project. They did also manage to bring back nearly everybody from the original cast except for Yo Asakura's voice actor, who's now played by Yoko Hikasa, sorry. And I must admit, let's talk about the voice actors first and foremost of the series. They're doing a fantastic job. I mean, Anna's voice actress, Megumi Hayashibara, is phenomenal again as Anna. They did a great job with her, sorry. Or she's doing a great job with Anna as the character, I should say. Katsuyuki Konishi as Amidamaru is coming back is fantastic. And overall, just a majority of the cast has come back to play the characters they did in the original series, and they're doing just as good of a job. Like, there was no need for them to be replaced, and I'm glad that they are the same voice actors. I wouldn't have minded, new voice actors and actresses. Like, Yo's new voice actor is actually really good as well, in my opinion. But of course, you can't beat the original in terms of that. In terms of the soundtrack, of course, it still brings in that traditional sounds, some of the OSTs. I love the OP and ED, by the way. The OP and ED is phenomenal. But the soundtrack itself, like, I will genuinely say that's the beauty of the show. I really have been enjoying. The first 6 episodes have done a very good job in indicating where the soundtrack is going. They're going for the more cultural sounds, the more traditional sounds. It's not like, rock playing in the background or metal or anything of that sort. Yeah, they're playing traditional music more often than not, even during the fight scenes and the action scenes, basically, right? Very, very well done there. Very, very, very well done there, in my opinion. And so far, in terms of the adaptation itself, I think it's been done really well. I mean, it's only the first 6 episodes, so even if I compare to the original anime, it's pretty much 1:1, purely because the first half of the original anime was actually following the manga. So the first half of the original anime wasn't really that bad. So the job of this anime is to work on and prepare for the second half, in my opinion, where obviously that's where they will be actually adapting the end of the manga, whereas the original didn't do that. The original had its own ending, right? So to be honest, so far so good in terms of the adaptation. A couple of changes here and there, I will say, though. I have noticed that some scenes were glossed over, some scenes weren't, which is good. Obviously, I think they're doing a good job in pacing it as well. I feel like not all of it is done in the same episode. So if there's something from a chapter, it gets pushed to maybe the following episode, or it's in the episode prior to it, which is fine by me, in my opinion, as long as there is a good sense of pacing, because this is a 52 episode season, right? So there's a long way to go and a lot of time to work on the series as a whole, right? Now let's talk about the animation, because that is where I think there is a slight issue. I really love the artwork and the art style they've used for the characters. Like Anna's character design, Tao Jun is phenomenal. Like, I genuinely have never seen Tao Jun look that good ever before, honestly. They've done a fantastic job with the character designs. And obviously in certain moments during the actual motion sequences, like when Yo is dodging attacks and, actually trying to attack using his fists and stuff, it actually looks good. The animation looks fluid. It's a well done job. But there is a bit of an issue when they're doing special attacks and such maneuvers, I should say. It feels a bit stop motion-y. It feels like frame 1, frame 2. It reminds me a lot of Danmachi, where like the actual movements are like, it goes from frame 1, frame 2, and that's the move, right? Or frame 1, 2, 3, basically. It's not like frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, where it's like a fluid motion of like him actually moving across your screen and doing the attack basically, right? It's not necessarily a terrible thing, and I do know that because it's obviously early days, we've still not got into the really hype fights right yet, just yet at least, so I have still some faith that they might be saving up the production, and the production time and the money to invest into that part basically, so that when we get into the hype fights, though the animation improves drastically then. So I'm gonna give it some leeway right now, but that's my only flaw. It feels a bit like frame 1, frame 2, and that's it. It doesn't feel that there is more to the animation, slideshow-esque if anything. At the same time, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a completely negative thing, but when it's an action-based show, it's a shonen show, the main attraction should also be the animation, right? And that's where it kind of falters just a teeny tiny bit, in my opinion. But overall, I think this is a reboot that's well worth watching. I think they've done a fantastic job so far with it. Like I said, the original voice cast that has come back has done a fantastic job. The OP and ending are really solid, but the soundtrack's even better in my personal opinion so far. And I cannot wait to get into the hyper themes where, main boss characters start coming in, and we hear their themes, as well as when Yo does something cool. I'm gonna leave it at that, as that something cool, which will probably happen because shonen protagonist, something cool will inevitably happen. But something cool with Yo, I cannot wait to hear the soundtrack for that. The animation, like I said, it does have its flaws, but overall the art style, the actual animation itself, when they actually use it, is a joy to watch. Oh, something to add on the animation side of things, the visual expressions or the facial expressions of the characters, great job. Some of the moments, facial expressions can be a bit tricky to do in my personal opinion, because whenever I see facial expressions, they can either go it's okay, it's not amazing, and it's there, but sometimes they are actually a joy to watch when they're done well, and this is a case I feel that where it's done actually well, and I have to rate Bridge and the animation team behind that. They've done a great job with the facial expressions, especially of Manta. At times Rio has got some amazing facial expressions in my opinion. Overall, they did a great job with that in my opinion. I think that's one of the things that they nailed, in all honesty. Overall, I think the reboot is definitely worth watching if you are interested in Shaman King, or if you want a shonen to watch. Maybe you've gotten off of MHA, maybe you don't want to watch Tokyo Revengers, maybe you don't want to watch anything else in the season and you want something to watch. I highly recommend Shaman King. It's on track to being a very, very interesting show, and I think that's going to be a well-adapted show more so. That's the biggest thing for me personally. It's going to be a well-adapted show. It's only 6 episodes in. It will be coming to Netflix in a couple of months, in regards to the West, of course. Obviously, right now, it's only airing in Japan, but it should be coming to Netflix very, very soon. It is a Netflix show. So hopefully you guys are interested in watching that. But yeah, I think I have to give it so far in terms of all the episodes done and everything, I cannot obviously give it a 10 out of 10 because there's still a long way to go. We still can't make decisions on whether it's a complete adaptation, right? It may have been well adapted so far, doesn't mean it's going to be completely adapted, right? The animation, iffy at times, but overall still solid. Soundtrack's amazing. Not OST. OP and ED is amazing. The characters themselves, the voice cast, great job from them. So overall, I have to give it an 8 out of 10 so far. The 6 episodes have really pleased me. I'm not gonna give it a 9 or a 10 because that's too much for what is only 6 episodes, right? But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you've watched Shaman King. What do you think about it? Leave a like if you enjoyed this sort of a video, and let me know if you want to see anything more in terms of any other show that's ongoing that I might want to cover. And yeah, subscribe for more anime content on 5ix9ine, because we will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody.